Welcome back everybody to another 1/6 scale Hot Toys figure unboxing, and today we have a couple of what I would consider some spooky-ish characters, some witches and wizards if you would, because this is coming out after Halloween weekend, and I don't necessarily have any like horror figures like a Ghostface or like a Jason or a Michael Myers or whatever, Freddy Krueger, and I'm not necessarily into horror like that, so I don't know if I ever will get horror figures, but the closest thing I had to some spookier figures for some Halloween, I guess, inspired figures would be the Lokis, and that would be Sylvie and Loki from the TVA show and the Loki TVA series. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video where Loki will get unboxed, but today we are unboxing Sylvie, which is Loki, if you know you know, but Sylvie, played by Sophia Demartino, and I absolutely loved Sylvie from the show, and she's super badass, and just another one of these lady characters that I can't wait to add to the collection. It says Sylvie on the front, TMS 062, 1/6 scale collectible figure, another Marvel Studios Loki 1/6 scale collectible figure. It's got some knives on the side of the box that go onto the back, and you can see her eyes in the side, in like the sword, and also some other reflections of her from the show. Some legal information around the back. It says Hot Toys presents television masterpiece series Sylvie. Oh, okay, so MMS, so is movie masterpiece series, so this is television masterpiece. Oh, so that's what the TMS and the MMS stands for. Interesting, didn't know that. Not too much on the outside. You can see a little bit of like the TVA clock in the background. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to slide off the cover, see what this has got. Ooh, it's like a purple box. It's got TVA on the side. It's got a little Miss Minutes down here that says for time always, or for all time always. Time Variance Authority logo on the back, the TVA logo. Very interesting. First look at her. She comes with like a TVA device. She comes with a couple swords. A little TVA device to be able to like portal in and out of the portals. Very cool. I'm gonna bust this box open and see what this figure is looking like. Alright, just popped off the top of the plastic clamshell. Always gotta make sure you read your instructions. We'll get into those in a minute for myself. But taking a closer look at the figure, her like armor looks pretty good. Pants don't look like too much detail, but it is what it is. She looks like she comes with a plethora of hands and different expressions and poses, and comes with some green magic effect as well that are like already built into the hands and not like an effect that you put on the hand. That's kind of cool actually. She's got some TVA devices, I think. A giant sword that looks to have some Asgard written on it. That's kind of cool. I don't know if I've ever actually noticed her sword had like a crazy horse on the pommel. Ooh, interesting. And then it looks like the TVA staff stick that they use to like prune you to the void. It looks like there's another version of that staff where it's just like a stabbing stick. And then there's like, you know, what was, fuck, I haven't watched Loki in a long time. What was the little device she put on the ground that like reset everything? There's one of those as well. It looks like there's this little piece that would go underneath that to make it look like everything's getting affected by that device. I really should go back and watch Loki. I've seen it, but I haven't seen it in a long time. It's been a couple of years. She's got her nice cloak, nice looking cloak there that looks like it might have some buttons, or those might be just faux buttons, but you know, cool nonetheless. I don't know if that's wired, maybe along the bottom edge and the top edge here. But that is really cool. We'll try that on the figure in a second. But let's just take a closer look at the figure and a little bit of first impressions. Oh, she does have a sheath on her side for the sword. That's a nice touch. Pulling off the plastic on her head. Oh, very nice. I think this figure would look really cool with rooted hair, like with artisan hair. But I do like that the tiara on her head isn't a separate piece that you have to put on. They just come with it right on the figure, and they're like, nope, she always wears it, screw you. Like, you don't get to take it off. She doesn't want to. Some kind of straps around her back. Two other, like, maybe holsters or something for maybe a knife or something. This character did have knives, did she not? Doesn't all Lokis have knives? But I love, you know, that between the different figures and the you know, tons of male figures I have, and then you unbox one of these lady figures, and it's like everything is, the proportions are so much smaller, and you're like, well, yeah, that makes sense. She's probably all of 5 foot. You know, she's not 6'1", 6'2", or this big jacked, you know, Thor of a figure, or Hulk or something huge. She's like this tiny, petite little girl, and like, it should accurately present like that, you know? And like her legs stick so close together with like every other figure is like this big, thick boy. And she's just like this cute young girl. You know, like I kind of dig her physique, and I love how different these figures are. And it would feel very wrong. Like I've seen some people's channels and collections, and it's like they're only obsessed with male characters. And it's like, that's cool. Like, me personally, I'm obsessed with a lot of characters, and you know, I don't have a ton of women, because let's be real, there aren't a ton of women great characters. But as far as Marvel wise, women in my collection, so this is only my 5th female character, with Lady Pool, Black Widow in her white suit, Kate Bishop in her Hawkeye suit, her purple outfit from the Hawkeye TV series, and Wanda from WandaVision. So I don't have a whole lot of female characters, but all of the ones I do are from Marvel, so maybe I'll have to get Catwoman from Michael Keaton's Batman, and also maybe Anne Hathaway's Batgirl, Catwoman, you get what I mean. You know, like, so I do want more female characters in my collection, but they just aren't a ton of them, you know what I mean? Like, there is some out there, but some of them, like, you know, I want the She-Hulk figure, but that's kind of harder to find these days. And like, you know, a figure like this, a character that I really love, but we haven't seen since Loki season 2, so I'm really hoping that she ends up making an appearance in like Avengers Doomsday or something, you know what I mean? But why don't we get back to the figure unboxing and take out all of her accessories that come with the Sylvie from the Loki series and lay them out on the table in front of us here and take a closer look at everything that Sylvie has to offer. Alright everybody, we have Sylvie from the Loki TV series sitting in front of us here, and let's just talk about her immediately. She does come with these big old chunky boots, but no real articulation down here, so you're going to be pretty stiff down by the ankles. But I do like that you can't see no ankles, can't see no knees, can't see no wrist pegs. There is that little detail on the green there popping out. There is little green details around her that I do like. Little gold details around her too. This like leather corset, Loki-esque bodysuit with like little scratches on it. Like she's been through some battles. She does have a sheath for her sword. We'll look at that in 1 second. I am curious to see how these gloves go on and off. Oh, it just slides off. Oh, cool, cool, cool. So this little leather piece just slides over. So, you know, you can just kind of slide your hand on, slide this back over the hand, and then you kind of got this nice look. Yeah, I kind of like those a lot, actually. And you can adjust them, you know, up or down if you need to. Or it might be sewn into the shirt there, so this shouldn't come, you know, too far down ever. But you can roll up the bottom a little bit so you can get the hands on easier. But getting into that head sculpt, some people were saying they really wish that this came off. I don't know. I think that it should stay on, just like the box art. But yeah, this would be a figure that like looks almost perfect to me. I don't remember that bun necessarily, but maybe it was there. And, you know, not a bad head sculpt, actually. And I really did love Sophia Demartino as Sylvie next to Tom Hiddleston's Loki in this. I mean, she's kind of a Loki, but she's Sylvie. She's cool as hell. And honestly, if Sylvie ends up having a big role in Doomsday, I'll be shocked, but also like that's so cool that, you know, a character from Loki's Disney Plus show is going to be right alongside him in like this huge Avengers movie. Like, I guarantee you, when she got the role of Sylvie, if that comes to fruition and she's in an Avengers movie, I guarantee you she never thought that would happen. But yeah, very cool looking character. Not a bad looking head sculpt. And just imagine if that had like an artisan head sculpt. That would look sick. But let's look at some of her accessories. As you saw, she had that sheath for this sword here, and it has like, looks like some Norse writing on it, some blue dyed steel sword type thing, some green writing on the hilt there, and then I believe that's like a warthog pig with tusks as like her
pommel. I think that's the correct terminology there on the hilt. The pommel is like that thing there. I think not a bad looking sword, and that will at least be a cool thing to have in her sheath with this little gold detail poking out. That's cool. She also comes with these other 2 sticks that she can wield. One of them's like the TVA pruning device that the TVA agents use, and one of them looks like that same TVA stick, but with a stabbing spear on it, and that is pretty pokey and sharp, so definitely don't poke an eye out with that, but not a bad little TVA devices that you can hold on to there with Sylvie. Now, as you can see, it comes with one of those terrible TVA portals that I also mentioned in the Loki video, how bad those are, and I'll plug in a little clip. Now, what's really crazy is that they gave you this little background thing in 2 of their figures, right? There's now 2 Deadpool and Wolverine figures, and they only give you one of those bad boys. And what's even more shocking is that they're both off, right? Like, that thing has a light up effect in it that makes it look even better, but I'm just lazy and I don't want to go find my USB-C cord in the other room and plug that in right now, you know, and go through that effort. But this background, right, like, it's supposed to be the same thing. It's wider, it's shorter, it looks worse, you know, like this looks so much more like the TVA portal than this ever could. You know what I mean? Like, this is a pile of dog shit, and I probably won't use it in my display, but I'll be sure to use this background display to get at least a shot of Loki or Sylvie going through the TVA portal. But this, garbage. But if you put that background next to the TVA portal that came from Deadpool in Wolverine's battling Deadpool, it doesn't compare at all, and it looks so bad. So I definitely won't be using that plastic backdrop in my display, but it does come with the Sylvie and Loki figures. But going back to his accessories, she has this little TVA time reset device, and I thought it was the same exact one that comes with Loki, but Loki's paint design is a little bit different. On the inside, it looks like his thing is almost drained and hers is like full. And his look like a little bit more black wash up top, you know, so her TVA reset device thing looks a little different than his, but mostly the same design, just maybe slightly different paint applications, but not exactly the same. So, you know, 2 different things here, not the same exact accessory. Of course, Sylvie comes with this little black poncho jacket thing that she has in the show that you can see on the box art there. And I actually quite like that pose on the box art, but I also like that there's like this green pop of color on the inside of this jacket that you wouldn't necessarily see if you just see it like this. You're like, oh, it's just a black jacket. But then there's this little green detail that really pops on the inside of the jacket and will pop the rest of the green details. And I can't wait to try Sylvie with that poncho on in just a moment. But looking at her hands and the rest of the stuff she comes with, she also comes with a little TVA device that's got this like wood paneling on it and this separate piece that comes to attach to it. So now I have 2 of these little TVA portal remote things, and I'm going to probably toss one with Loki and Sylvie, and I'll toss the other one with the battling version Deadpool so he can open and close his portal and go through it whenever he likes. Looking at some of Sylvie's hands here, she does have these magic hands that normally when they come with magic hands, they come with the magic accessories after the fact and they like plug into the hands. These hands though have the magic effect like they're floating off of her and like barely attached to the fingers, but they come, you know, fully attached already. So you definitely don't want to try and break that off of there. This is how it comes straight out of the box with her little magic symbol thing. It's like a little circular spiky magic. But yeah, I vaguely remember her doing stuff like this in the show and like, you know, constantly having her green magic. She was much more of a magician than say Loki was at the beginning of his series. But by the end of the series, they both find glorious purpose. She comes with a couple of holding hands for her sword or whatever other TVA staff she wants to put in her hands. And then she comes with these two like relaxed or grabbing or like just splayed out hands. And then she comes with these two weird hands that aren't, you know, symmetrical. And one has like the two fingers and one has like just a relaxed hand down by her side. Maybe this is for like holding Loki's hand or something, but he doesn't necessarily come with like a super relaxed hand for her to be able to hold or whatever. So yeah, we'll definitely try that out. And she has the same type of Loki base that he did, but it has Sylvie on the base rather than Loki with his bendy horns. And yeah, I think this is a pretty cool figure, and I'm very happy with how she looks. But let's see what kind of accessories we can get on her and what kind of poses she can do. And let's see what Sylvie from the Loki Disney Plus series is capable of. All right, everybody, we have Sylvie from the Loki Disney Plus series spinning around on the turntable for us, just standing straight up and down as she comes out of the box with her fist hands, and I just tossed her sword into her sheath to complete her look. And then I have her poncho jacket on and doing the kind of box art pose where she's putting on the hood. And then I have the poncho jacket hood off as she's pulling her sword out of her sheath, and the pruning stick is in her other hand as she's walking forward. And then she has her sword out like she's just killed who she needed to kill, and she's heading back home as she's pulling out her TVA portal remote to head back to whatever timeline she wants to. And then I took the jacket off and she's standing on the timeline reset device with the magic effect in one hand. And she has the long pruning stick in the other hand with the pruning device on one end and the spike on the other. And then I have their final pose side by side, Loki and Sylvie together holding hands like they're about to fight Goliath. And Loki has his flaming sword in one hand. They got the TVA computer and Miss Minutes down by their feet. And Sylvie's got her magic hand while she's holding Loki's hand, like she's about to turn Goliath into their gateway to the end of time, or however she did that. I'm not a wizard. If you know, comment below. But unboxing these two made me want to do one thing for sure, and that's go rewatch the Loki Disney Plus series. It's been a couple years since I probably haven't watched it since it came out, so maybe time for a rewatch for these guys, because I miss these characters quite a bit. And I'm thinking the next time we see them might be in Avengers Doomsday alongside some other characters. So why don't I go toss these two on the shelf and see what they're looking like next to some other Marvel women and men from the Disney Plus series, and some people that might be ending up in Avengers Doomsday alongside these two. All right, Loki and Sylvie placed on the shelf here, and that was much more of a hassle than it should have been. Every time I placed them, one of them fell. It was a hassle. But maybe if I had the flight, crotch grabbers behind them, maybe they would stand easier, or maybe it would be harder to get them in there because I have shit like this with the plastic tray. So now this platform's able to slide under there. But I have Black Widow, Kate Bishop, two Hawkeyes, pretty much besides Black Widow there, pretty much Hawkeye, Loki, WandaVision. So this is kind of my Disney Plus shelf at the moment. A little bit of Falcon Winter Soldier right here, Shang-Chi, Loki again. So you got Loki right below him. Next to Thor, my Deadpool Wolverine figures, Batman. The Doom shelf has changed because I moved Stanley and Thor back there in front of Ragnarok Hulk again. That's kind of how they were for the longest of times. And then when I got Dr. Doom, I kind of made this shelf with Hulk in the background, just the Avengers and Dr. Doom. But now it's the Avengers, Dr. Doom, and Ragnarok figures in the back. And I still have room to expand in the back left corner back there. Artisan Joker, and I believe that's what, Mark 8 or Mark 6, I believe, Iron Man? 4? I don't know. One of the Mark Iron Mans. It was a while ago. But if you guys see here, I got some more Iron Man figures with gantry. Iron Man Mark V. So more Iron Man figures to come in the future, and definitely more Marvel and DC figures coming your way in the future. But that's it today on Loki and Sylvie. I love their accessories. I love the Miss Minutes and the TVA portal device and the fire effects and the magic effects, and two really nice looking figures. And I have the classic Loki from this Disney Plus series, so maybe I'll toss him behind them, and maybe I'll have to get like President Loki or whoever else is from the Loki Disney Plus series, or maybe I just get like Kang the Conqueror and put him behind them, who knows. But definitely some room on either side of them to expand and behind them. But as far as right now, this is my Disney Plus shelf, and I'm not too mad at it. So I really appreciate you guys coming on by. If you have any questions for me, or if you have any comments or anything you guys want to chat about, drop those down in the comment section below. Or you can message me on my other social medias. Links for those down in the description below. Big Cam, 2Gs with the Big, pretty much anywhere, and you can find me. But if you made it this far in the video, I highly appreciate you, and the best way to support the channel is liking this video, commenting down below, subscribing if you haven't already, and hitting that bell so you don't miss next week's figure unboxings, and another 1/6 scale Marvel or DC figure will be coming out next weekend. So make sure you guys stay tuned and you guys don't miss those, and you get the notification when it comes out. Once again, thank you guys so much. And I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.